let's pretend we were on Family Feud for a second. If I were to ask you which two current WNBA players have been responsible for the most merchandise sales this year, what would your guess be? Like, number one answer on the board. I mean, Caitlin Clark. If you didn't say Caitlin Clark, I would have to question whether you have a functioning brain. Who would be the second response in that scenario? Angel Reese. Angel Reese. Yes. It is the other response that makes the most sense in that regard. They are merch monsters right now. They are moving that merch. The top two selling merchandise movers in the entire league. In the entire league. But it's not just that. According to TMZ Sports, who talked to Fanatics, which is a real source, obviously, since they're in charge of these things, the merchandise sales for the league for personal merchandise, like merchandise around an individual player, is up 1,000%. 1,000%. With Caitlin Clark at number one, obviously, and Angel Reese at number two in the league. Now, the rest of the top five is kind of interesting. Here's the list of the rest of the top five when it comes to that right here. You've got Clark, Reese, Sabrina Ionescu, big star on the New York Liberty in a big market. That makes sense. Kate Martin and A'ja Wilson. You could explain the Kate Martin thing through the connection with Caitlin Clark, if we're being real about it, right? Caitlin played with Kate Martin at Iowa. Obviously, there's a huge fan base that has followed that team, Caitlin specifically, into the league, but they have joined in celebrating Kate Martin as well. I'm a little surprised that Kate is actually ahead of A'ja, her Las Vegas Aces teammate, because A'ja, obviously, considered by most to be the best player in the WNBA right now, and obviously has gotten, I think, more focus on her than she ever has in her career before as a result of all of this, as a result of the attention that the rookies have brought in. But it really shows you that we're in for a whole new landscape and a whole new league going forward, right? Like, because it is the new faces who are already the faces. And that couldn't have been made more clear than by the All-Star game as well. The WNBA All-Star game saw ratings that were triple the previous record. Triple the previous record. That is nuts. In fact, the All-Star game was the third most watched event in the history of the WNBA. And the first two were the first two. At the inception of the league, there was a big viewership because it was a new thing. It was also in the late 90s, 1997, when you're talking about when TV viewership was at a much higher level just overall, because it wasn't fractured due to digital media and streaming and everything that has come since. But since then, it's the WNBA All-Star game. And so much of that, obviously, is Caitlin Clark. But, you have to give Angel Reese her credit, too. I cover Angel Reese, I think appropriately here, as the second most popular women's basketball player in the world. And I think that's another reason their connection in the All-Star game is still getting attention. I mean, I see various forms of the highlight still being shared. Here's another angle of that connection between the two. You see Caitlin saying, she says, go, go, go. There's Sabrina getting back. But Caitlin just pushes the pace. That's what she does well. And Angel really runs the floor. The dump off and the finish by Angel Reese. That led to that dap, that handshake, that, of course, healed the entire world. Peace and love was found across the globe when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's hands met in that moment. But, it's just wild to see some of the numbers. It's pretty staggering to see. It's a little surprising. I mean, I guess it's not shocking, a little surprising to see Kate Martin ahead of A'ja Wilson, but certainly not shocking. Sabrina The Liberty recognized her in a post, and obviously Sabrina was in the 3-point shootout with Steph Curry at the NBA All-Star game. So that helped raise her profile, in addition to the fact that she plays for one of the best teams in the biggest market. But the two rookies are the stars. I mean, look, Angel shows up to watch the Team USA play, and she sits next to Durant and Curry, and I think that got more attention than anything USA basketball did in that game. I mean, it was a little bit of a boring game against Germany, but you see Angel in attendance, and it feels like there were posts written about that, and more so than anything on the actual game. Angel also has committed to Unrivaled, which is the new 3-on-3 basketball league started by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Kalia. And it will have the highest average salary for women's professional sports ever, I believe. That's a 3-on-3 league starting in January with the base out of Miami. And, they're going to have a season in the off season so that the women don't have to go overseas to supplement their income. And Barbie was announced, the biggest acquisition for Unrivaled as of yet. We'll see if Caitlin Clark is on that list as well. I mean, it would make sense for her to participate in that league, not only given she will have the time off, not only given the monetary value, but also obviously what it would do to raising the profile of that venture. And I think that venture being raised and elevated obviously only helps everybody as well. I copped one of the Caitlin All-Star jerseys. I got the black joint with the pink trim. It's kind of ill. I was trying to decide between the orange and the black, but black's a little bit more versatile. You can wear it with anything. Takes them forever to ship the damn things. I don't even know when I'm not gonna get it until like the first week of August or something like that. It's only gonna have a month of summer to rock the damn thing. But that backs up the numbers that you see there. And you can see the article, Women's Fast Break on SI, in the link in the description below. But I mean, it's wild. I mean, I know we keep saying ratings break and attendance break and all this stuff, and it almost becomes normal. But what we're living through and going through right now is not normal. This is a true altering of the landscape. And the Caitlin Clark effect is the number one reason for it, by a mile. But Angel Reese is also having an impact. And they are the top two merchandise movers in the WNBA.